Hello there. It's been a while since I did a book thought, but I read a really good book, so I wanted to give you my thoughts. So, I'm a history nut. That's what I love to study. I'm probably going to go back and get a PhD in that uh, and teach it one day. Just what it is. But I also like reading popular histories. So, not just the academic stuff. I also like reading popular histories for two reasons. One, a lot of times they tell some great stories, learn some stuff as I go along. But two, I also like having good books to recommend to my non history nut friends. So then they can learn about, whatever the book's about, and I can just pass it off to them. Just, that brings us to today's book, Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World. Number one, it's a good book. Solid popular history. It's organized well. It's coherent. It tells a good story, which is an important part of a popular history. Is that you try to bring people in with a good narrative, and history has the best narratives. It has a great way just to a pacing to it. You get to learn about each stage of Genghis Khan's life and then of the later empire without lingering too long on any of the nitty gritty. And there's plenty of nitty gritty you could linger on. Um, so the other thing that I think it's very good at is it's a very good overview examination of Mongol culture and steppe culture in general. Well, maybe not in general. It doesn't really get very much into the difference between the Mongols or the Mongolic peoples, the Celtic peoples, and the Turks, which there's some differences there. But that once again, that gets nitty gritty. But it does a very good job of contextualizing the events in Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan or Temujin, as his personal name was. That life, it contextualizes events by explaining to you significance of different things. So for his mother, to have given her shirt to her first husband as he was fleeing from Temujin's father, who kidnapped Temujin's mother. The average person's like, she gave him his shirt. She gave him her shirt. There we go. What's the point of that? Well, it goes into it and explains that to the Mongols, a person's smell was considered an extension of their soul, and so he's giving a smelly garment to him, saying that you're carrying a piece of my soul with you. It's very poignant, but makes no sense if you don't have experience with the culture stuff. So that's part one. Another thing that's very good about it is, you need the narrative in a popular history, but for it to really be history, it needs arguments. A listing of events is just dry and boring. You gotta give me an argument to push things forward. This does that. Its arguments about how the Mongol Empire grew are, I think, very solid. But here's where we're going to actually hit our first, detractions from this book. I think that how its arguments, both explicit and implicit, about the effect of the Mongols on the rest of the world fall a little flat, because the narrative is clearly in the story of this book. The focus of this book is all about the Mongols. It makes sense. However, whenever it starts in looking at the interactions between the Mongols and other people, people outside of what would be their empire, it oversimplifies. It oversimplifies to the point that you think that it gets to feel that they're doing it in order to make their argument just work. Things are very complicated. We get into all kinds of nitty gritty of Mongol politics and Mongol culture and how it develops, and then are somewhat supposed to just take on face value that mere exposure to Mongolia and Mongol exchange of ideas, is responsible solely for changes across the globe. Absolutely a factor. It factors into so much. However, not the sole factor. people are complicated, societies are very complicated. Fortunately, the book doesn't really focus on that, so it's more of a minor nitpick. As a central story of the Mongols, I think it's fantastic. Um, but yeah, so that's a full recommendation from me. I'll probably try to trick people into reading it, so then I can talk about Temujin, Genghis. I can talk to them about the Ilkhanate, which once again, once we get past Ogadai's life, we take a long time through Temujin, then we take a speed through Ogadai to Monge, I believe is how you pronounce that. We speed through that, and then we just focus on Kublai. I understand that, makes sense, but if you're not going to learn a lot about the Ilkhanate or the Golden Horde or Chagatai's descendants in Transoxiana. So just know that going into it. But, once again, full recommendation. You should read it. That's all I have for now. If people, keep liking these books, or these book thoughts, just let me know. Yeah. Tell me if there's something that you would like me to focus on more or less. I think the next one is going to be about the first 3 books of the Magic by the Numbers series by Lyndon Hardy, which is Master of the 5 Magics, The Secret of the 6th Magic, and the one I'm reading now, The 7th Realm, something along those lines. Number 7's involved. And so that'll be up next. Probably do these a little less frequently and focus on books that I'm a little more strong feeling about. And yeah, that's all I got for you right now. Catch you later.